Joining me now is California Congressman Ted Lieu, a Democratic member of the House Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committees and Vice Chair of the House Democratic Caucus, and a good friend to us. Welcome back to the broadcast. Give me your reaction, sir, to the president's comments. And what more can you tell us about where negotiations are this weekend? Is there a good faith effort underway or not?
Thank you, Alex, for your question. Republicans want to crash the U.S. economy by not paying our bills. That is insane. The Constitution requires that we honor our debts, the full faith and credit clause of the Constitution. But more importantly, it's what allows the United States to be a global leader, that corporations and businesses in the U.S. and around the world know that we will not default on our debts. It is encouraging that staff from the various caucuses have been meeting and talking and making some progress. So let's see what happens the next few days. And I look forward to a resolution where we pay our bills, because their alternative is going to be catastrophic.
Given the pressure on all this, I know the president is looking at the 14th Amendment. Yes, the 14th Amendment, I believe it's Clause 4, as a potential way to work around the debt ceiling. But Treasury Secretary Yellen calls this idea legally questionable. How do you see it?
If his alternative was to either crash the U.S. economy or follow the Constitution, then we should just follow the Constitution. My hope is it doesn't get there. We are making progress at the staff level talks, and it's my hope that the Republicans will come to their senses. So, look, we're happy to have a conversation about our budget and debt and revenues and so on, but we can't just not pay our bills. And that is the sticking point. Speaker McCarthy needs to take defaulting on our debt off the table.
Speaking of Republicans, Congressman George Santos pleaded not guilty, as you know, to a 13-count federal indictment. He's been under pressure to resign since before he was even sworn into Congress. Does this change things? Speaker McCarthy has said he's not going to support his reelection. So do you think Republicans will take action now?
My hope is that Speaker McCarthy allows a bill on the floor by Congressman Robert Garcia to expel George Santos. Under the Constitution, the members of the House have that authority to expel members for misconduct. And these are serious charges. They include money laundering, theft of public funds. George Santos allegedly wrongfully got unemployment insurance. In a criminal court of law, George Santos is entitled to the presumption of innocence. The House of Representatives is not a criminal court of law. We have the ability to expel George Santos, and I hope Speaker McCarthy gives us that ability.
We will see. Meantime, here's something that former President Donald Trump said about January 6th in his town hall this week. Take a listen.
They were there proud. They were there with love in their heart. That was an unbelievable, and it was a beautiful day.
Will you pardon the January 6th rioters who were convicted of federal offenses?
I am inclined to pardon many of them. I can't say for every single one, because a couple of them probably they got out of control.
They were there with love in their heart. It was a beautiful day. What do you make of him pardoning January 6th rioters?
It is disgusting. 140 law enforcement officers were injured that day. There was an attack on our Capitol. Some of those law enforcement officers suffered serious injuries. You cannot support Donald Trump and support law enforcement. That is simply something that does not go together, because Donald Trump essentially is saying it was okay to assault police officers. I also note that what Donald Trump's statements show is that he is not doing anything to reach out to anyone who's not a MAGA Republican. And his statements, which may be good for his primary, are going to be very damaging for him in the general election. Democrats and Joe Biden will use the statements and ads. And in fact, we've already been doing that.
Yeah, you're echoing the sentiments just expressed with Peter Baker. I mean, he didn't gain one single vote from what we saw. I mean, who was going to say, oh, yeah, this sounds good, I'm going to throw my vote behind him. Anyway, we do know that he was asked about the classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago. Here's part of that.
When it comes to your documents, did you ever show those classified documents to anyone?
Not really. I would have the right to. By the way, they were declassified
What do you mean, not
after.
Really?
Not that I can think of. Let me just tell you, I have the absolute right to do whatever I want with them. I have the right.
That's an extraordinary exchange right there. Is Special Counsel Jack Smith likely taking notes?
Absolutely. Federal prosecutors are always thrilled when Donald Trump says stuff on national TV because what he says sometimes incriminates himself. The law is not written that way. Donald Trump does not have the absolute right to do whatever he wants with classified documents. And by the way, there's a process for declassifying documents. So when you declassify a document, everyone gets to see it, including MSNBC, including the Kremlin. So Donald Trump cannot just say he declassified documents and not tell anyone. There's no such thing like that in the law. Donald Trump broke the law. It's clear as day.
Okay. My friend and California Congressman Ted Lieu, thank you so much. Have a good Saturday.